just found out some really creepy stuff about Chris Brown's Stalker, and even he is scared for his life. I believe this is her at a Chris Brown meet and greet. He had no idea of what she was doing at the time, but pay attention to how she was dressed in all red, even her hair, because there's a conspiracy about this woman that's just gonna send chills down your spine. But this is no ordinary stalker. She was sending death threats to Chris Brown and his dancers.
What's up, amazing people? It's me again. Welcome and welcome back to yet another video. So today I'll be reacting to another crazy and creepy TikTok video compilation that is going to make you question literally everything. So if that's something you're interested in, definitely do keep on watching.
Oh my gosh.
I gotta videotape this.
He's talking.
So I wasn't crazy.
No.
This bird is talking.
What the heck? That's crazy.
Yeah.
What else could it say?
I don't know. I don't even know
Tweet,
what
tweet,
he's
tweet.
saying. Tweet, tweet. The bird is actually.
It is talking. I swear to God.
We have video.
Listen. Oh!
He's so cute.
Is it real?
I don't know. Is it like a robot? Like, because that's a pretty good moving robot.
What?
Why is a bird?
Yeah, say something.
Are you afraid of me? Wait.
It's like saying something talk about. Look, its eyes look
Ew,
like
it just
cameras.
Wait, it just peed. It just pooed.
I know.
Did you snap back into it, bro?
Oh my gosh.
All right, we gotta go, guys. This is getting weird.
Careful, Willow.
Okay, yeah, I was scared of him. Like,
Dude, get out of here. Whoa.
Wow, that is crazy. You know, I understand that birds are so good at mimicking people, but what's scary about this particular one is that the closer they got to it, it couldn't fly away.
Hey, how you doing today?
Good.
Damn, what was that? Like it's just like it was waiting for the perfect moment to attack. And it's just funny how maybe the delivery guy will never know what happened.
When one of these mysterious metal monoliths showed up in the Congo, they set that bitch on fire because they didn't know where it came from, what it did, and they were not fixing to play with it. Let's talk about how these monoliths have popped up all over the world. I mean the entire world when I say the entire world. The first one popped up in Utah in 2020, but experts looked at it and they said it had to have been there since 2016. How do they know that? I don't know. I'm not an expert, just telling you what they said. After that Utah monolith popped up, hundreds followed. This is a map of all the monoliths that no one took credit for and mysteriously disappeared. When this one appeared in Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, they had guards watching it 24/7 until the government could get there and remove it. And yes, I know I probably said that wrong. Now what made this monolith even more suspicious is that on each side of it there was an engraving in a different language and it said, "Look at the sky if you want to see the moon." Look, I really don't know what these monoliths are here for. I don't know if they're just expensive artwork that someone decided to place all over the world, or if they're aliens creating a network here on Earth. But I will tell you this right now. I compared this map to my UFO map, and it matches.
Wow. Way to go, Congo.
Remember those weird monoliths that popped up a few years ago? There's a new one. This tall, shiny object was just found on a hiking trail in Las Vegas, but let's back up for a second. In late 2020, monoliths started mysteriously appearing all over the world, from Utah to Romania to downtown Las Vegas. The catch? No one saw who put them there. Naturally, the internet had a field day with theories of art installations, pranksters, and of course, aliens. Utah officials even reminded the public that using, occupying, or developing public lands without authorization is illegal, no matter what planet you're from. Over less than a month, 23 monoliths were found before the phenomenon stopped as quickly as it started. But now it might be back. The one that was just found in Las Vegas looks just like the ones from 2020, and officials say how it got there is a mystery. And this isn't the first one to pop up this year. Back in March, a hiker discovered a similar object on top of a hill in Wales that could only be reached on foot.
The Ark of the Covenant was a power plant device. We know this based on the descriptions in the Bible. And it's been replicated at 2 different universities by 2 different groups of people, and it generated so much power they had to shut it down, just based on the biblical information and instructions. When you take those measurements, it fits directly inside that box. And why did it fit in the box? Because the pyramid at some point had lost its ability to generate the maximum amount of power. And so that was needed to add an extra piece to fix the problem. And that's exactly what they did. Then the energy would shoot up through the apex. The obelisks are all made of crystal granite.
What do you mean the obelisk? What is that?
Those giant stones that stand up with the points at the top?
Okay.
Those are obelisks.
Okay.
They're all around the region. We have one at the White House, right? You know, we have one in Rome in the center courtyard there. They took them and put them all around. The one in Washington is obviously it's man-made, but the other ones around the world are all come out of Egypt. But what's interesting is those obelisks, they capture the ambient electricity from the atmosphere.
Crazy.
Where is the Ark of the Covenant? A long-standing religious legend in Ethiopia describes how the Ark of the Covenant was brought there 3,000 years ago by a man named Menelik, who, according to the legend, was the son of the Queen of Sheba and Israel's King Solomon. The legend states that the Queen of Sheba was from Ethiopia and that she traveled to Jerusalem, where she was seduced by King Solomon, giving birth to Menelik upon her return home. Menelik later traveled to Jerusalem and studied with his father before taking the Ark and bringing it to Ethiopia, where, legend has it, it still resides in the Church of Our Lady Mary of Zion in Aksum, where only the guardian of the Ark of the Covenant can view it. Researchers who journeyed to Tigray and made their way to Aksum Mary of Zion Church were purportedly introduced to a man referred to as the guardian of the Ark. This man was said to live his entire life inside a fenced-off area surrounding the church and will not leave his post until he dies, at which time he will be replaced by the next guardian. In the chapel of the church, 30 robes from 30 previous guardians are on display, and every one of those 30 professed that the object they protected was the true Ark of the Covenant.
The last place they would want to actually hide the Ark of the Covenant is not where it's known to be. That's what I think, because I have seen a theory where people claim that the Ark of the Covenant is actually in Kenya, in Mount Kenya, because they call Mount Kenya is Mount Zion, and it's quite interesting, you know.
I'm being reminded to tell you that you are known in the world because you are the custodian of God's tablet. And God's tablets are here. God's tablets are here in Mount Kenya. Ark of the Covenant is here in Mount Kenya. God's scrolls are here in Mount Kenya. You don't know it because the white man came and, erased all that. Then you are told you are just what you call, you are apes, you are what, and then you accepted your apes. It's for you now to tell the world what you have and the powers you have. Hopi Indians in America, they respect you. They say Kikuyus are the custodian of tablets.
Wow, that's quite interesting, but I have heard of this theory for quite a while now, where it's believed that Mount Kenya, which is in the middle of the earth, that is, the equator line passes through Mount Kenya, is what was known as Mount Zion or Mount Zion in the Bible. And it's quite fascinating because people believe that alien ships cannot land here or pass around here because of the force of gravity that is at the middle of the equator. The equator line passes through a state that is called Nanyuki. If in Kenya you understand Nanyuki. And what's more fascinating is that Batuk, that is the British training unit, is located in Nanyuki in Kenya. You know, that's quite like, why Kenya? Why in the middle of the planet? Why next to the equator? That is quite fascinating. And to think that this Batuk unit has been here since 1964, that's such a long time. And I'm just over here wondering, why Kenya? Why Kenya and why at the equator? That actually makes a lot of sense if you think about it. But correct me if I'm wrong. Let me know what you think. But that is something to really sit on.
Are you smarter? Yo, you good, bro? Good what?
This kid that's been missing for almost 2 months just randomly showed up in a live stream these guys were doing in Miami after he was declared possibly a homicide in Michigan, and they still don't know where he is. See, this is 17-year-old Troy Arthur Coleman. He's been missing since May 17th of 2024, or from Flint, Michigan. And these guys are Lacey and Clicks, and this is part of a live stream they were doing at a restaurant. And this kid just randomly came up to him. They started making fun of him, but apparently he has schizophrenia. And if you want to talk about odds, the odds are this kid's brother was watching the live stream when his own brother showed up. So he sent them a message. He said, "Hello, my name is Trent Coleman. Mine missing little brother from Michigan was on Clicks and Lacey stream in Miami. He was wearing green shorts and they were making fun of him. He's not on drugs, he is schizophrenic, and he's 17 years old. If someone can contact me about this, I would be so thankful. He has been missing for months and his case was put on homicide in Michigan. So if you're in the Miami area and you see some kid looks like this, he's about 6 foot 4,170, 180 pounds. Please reach out to his family. They are looking for him."
Whoa, that is so scary. I'm really glad that he's okay given his condition, and I just hope they found him.
Yo, listen, y'all remember how they said that this is what angels really look like, right? Yo, listen to this shit.
Researchers say they've identified at least 7 stars that might be surrounded by super advanced alien megastructures known as Dyson spheres. Yes, I said alien structures, and I know what you're thinking, but just stay with me here, because the basic idea was this: superior intelligent life might build big structures around their home stars or planets as a way to harness or reuse that energy. A 1960s physicist who came up with this idea, Freeman Dyson, argued that if these structures existed, there'd be so much energy that human scientists on Earth could probably spot it because it would emit a lot of infrared radiation. So in this new study, researchers say they found 7 sources glowing in the infrared, those are their words, but couldn't find an obvious explanation for why these sources are glowing so much, which could mean they're Dyson spheres or something else entirely. And what I'm saying is, what? Space is so crazy. I wish I understood it better. So
let's stop right there, right? This is what a Dyson sphere looked like in the scientific realm. This is what an angel look like in the religious realm. The real one too. Tell me they just wasn't describing that, y'all. Real shit. Wake up!
Given that doesn't want us to find out about the UFOs and extraterrestrial beings, and they have all these secrets all over. So when it comes to a point where they actually tell people about something, then we should actually be suspicious. So there's something behind it, or it's a distraction for something, because why let us know given how secretive these people are? Yo, let me know what you think, because I don't know about this. It's actually very creepy.
God really saw me. It's not how he looks. I go to St. Philadelphia Church. That's not how he looks in there. He has like a beard. He doesn't have long hair. He has short hair. His eyes were the most beautiful things I've ever seen. Mom, if you've seen them, if you would have saw them, you would have said they were beautiful, more beautiful than mine. And his lips, they never chapped, he said. No. Even happens, like your lips are just perfect. His lips were perfect. His lips were perfect. And Mom, he said that you, the reason you went through so much when you were little, he said it's because that's why the way you are today. He said that's why you are so good at what you do today. He said that your kids are like you because of you. He said that they're gonna grow up to be just like you. And he said that me, I'm gonna make you very proud. Perfect.
What you are seeing right here, my friend, is not demonic. What you are seeing right here has been described by the prophet Ezekiel. This right here is a heavenly being. I'm going to take a few scriptures from the whole passage, but you need to go and read the whole thing. I promise you, it will completely blow your mind. So in Ezekiel chapter 1, it reads, each had a human face in the front, the face of a lion on the right side, the face of an ox on the left side, and the face of an eagle at the back. Now, what if I told you that this thing you're looking at, yes, this thing here with all the eyes, is the carrier for the spirit of these heavenly beings. So the spirit of these heavenly beings is in these wheel-looking things right here. Look, Ezekiel reads, the rims of the four wheels were tall and frightening, and they were covered with eyes all around. When the living beings moved, the wheels moved with them. When they flew upward, the wheels went up too. The spirit of the living beings was in the wheels. So wherever the spirit went, the wheels and the living beings also went. Now, what if I told you that this picture that you're looking at is the full complete picture, and the person sitting on the throne is, you guessed it, our Lord God, with the heavenly beings underneath him. Scripture says, as they stood with wings lowered, a voice spoke from beyond the crystal surface above them. Above this surface was something that looks like a throne made of blue lapis lazuli, and on this throne, high above, was a figure whose appearance resembled a man. From what appeared to be his waist up, he looked like gleaming amber flickering like a fire, and from his waist down, he looked like a burning flame shining with splendor. All around him was a glowing halo like a rainbow shining in the clouds on a rainy day. This is what the glory of the Lord looked like to me, in the words of Ezekiel. So what you're seeing right here is depictions of heavenly beings and the Lord's throne. Listen, go and read Ezekiel chapter 1 to 3 and you will see this for yourselves. More description than what I've given you.
Personally, I think what Ezekiel's vision was explained in what we understand today, a spaceship figure. And I don't know if you've watched a video from Gaia where they've posted about the Ezekiel vision and given visual representation of what exactly he was explaining from the Bible, from the context of the Bible. So maybe you can go and check that video out if you haven't watched. I think it's still there from Gaia, and that's quite interesting.
Did anyone else find the invitations to the all-white party extremely weird? This is the highest profile party in the world called the All-White Party. It's hosted by billionaire Michael Rubin and it happens every year on the 4th of July. But there was something about the invitations that just didn't sit right with me. This one is Tom Brady's, this one right here is Drake's, and this is Quavo's. You can see all of the celebrities' invitations if you just look them up. But if you pause and look at the artwork, there's some weird stuff going on. These invitations were done by George Condo. This is a very popular artist and some of his artwork goes for millions of dollars, and he gave each celebrity their own unique invitation. And I looked up some of his artwork and he has a lot of interesting stuff, including when he collabed with Kanye West for one of his album covers, he drew him up a bunch of artwork. Yeah, I mean, it speaks for itself. A lot of people question what actually goes down during this party, especially after they saw what Michael Rubin made Meek Mill do, jumping around like a bunny because he supposedly lost the bet. And then in the private jet, when Lil Baby and Meek Mill were saying that they were gonna get drunken hugs if they don't behave at the party.
Right, I don't care what anyone says. You're getting a drunken hug. You too. You two, drunken hugs are coming.
No, for real, like how do you even get invited to such parties? Like, is it that it's a celebrity thing or just rich people thing? Because, and still, why must they do so many creepy things? Like, I don't understand, man.
Wendy freezing up, then fainting on live TV. Katy Perry glitching at her concert. Hillary Clinton shaking her head uncontrollably for no reason.
Will Smith knew.
You felt that the government was deliberately spraying cold germs in subways, was deliberately trying to make people ill with the AIDS virus. This is pretty serious stuff. Do you really feel that?
People are going to chase me after this. People are going to chase me. I believe that it is quite highly possible the AIDS virus is a result of genetic warfare testing.
By American agents?
Absolutely.
Wildest celebrity conspiracy theories. Beyonce's pregnant stomach seemed to fold on itself, creating rumors that she was wearing a fake belly and actually hired a surrogate to carry her child. Stevie Wonder is not actually blind. People say what gave it away is when he tried to catch a falling mic at the White House in 2010. Kanye West's mother was actually sacrificed, which he actually admits himself. I don't even know if this is a conspiracy or him just admitting it.
I ain't taking no slice from nobody. It's God. That's the only person that I serve. My mom ain't here. My mama was sacrificed.
Me too.
You understand?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Michael Jordan, what about him? His daddy, right? Bill Cosby, his son, right? Dr. Dre, his son. You're out in Hollywood, a lot of people come up missing.
Some celebrities live multiple lives. A long time ago, very rich and famous people were given the opportunity to join the Illuminati, where they got their DNA and memory extracted and saved so that when clones were made of them, they can then use that vessel to live forever, over and over and over again. But what do you guys think? Do you believe any of these? And follow, because part 2 is crazy.
Girl, they call it the entertainment industry for a reason, because this is pure entertainment. What? The Beyonce part where she like looks pregnant and all, and then she sits and the stomach folds. Why would you even lie? Like, why would you lie? These things happen to everyone. You don't have to lie to the public so that people can perceive you in a certain way. Why too many lies? Unless it's all for entertainment.
Listen to what Michelle Lamy said about God.
Thinking that people that can behave like incredible human beings are without the help of a God.
This video is for educational purposes only and under the fair use. Michelle Lamy had an article written about her called The High Priestess of Paris. She's married to Rick Owens, who calls himself the Dark Lord of the fashion industry. She can be seen with different celebrities. Of course, here she's wearing something with Rick Owens' head on it.
I just found out some really creepy stuff about Chris Brown's Stalker, and even he is scared for his life. I believe this is her at a Chris Brown meet and greet. He had no idea of what she was doing at the time, but pay attention to how she's dressed in all red, even her hair, because there's a conspiracy about this woman that's just gonna send chills down your spine. But this is no ordinary stalker. She was sending death threats to Chris Brown and his dancers.
Okay, what I gotta do, if I gotta join a gang, if I gotta do some mob, I don't care. Cause I can say it, cause you go with the wrong crew, you don't go to jail. Shit, man, I gotta work for the government. Where can I legally kill? Cause I'm coming for you motherfuckers as soon as I can. Might be 20 years from now, laugh, hee hee, ha ha. But when I can legally kill, I can kill it. My word is over your word, and they gonna believe me over you.
She also found a way onto his neighbor's property. I think she said she was gonna tour the house to buy it or something, just so she can get pictures and videos of his house. She finally makes it to the backyard, and then you can see her saying this is a nice view, and his house is right there.
Move them. And the view is nice.
back to the conspiracies. People are saying this might be some type of demonic possession because one, she's dressed in all red, and in this video I'm about to show you, she says that she keeps sending him Bibles and books that has to do with God, and she keeps calling herself an angel.
He's got a lot of Bible things for me. I sent him this. I sent him a Bible. This is all throughout from 2021. I sent him there's a DVD called Silence in God in America, Silence in God. Like, I'm just an angel. I'm his angel. I'm his angel. Like,
is that a crazy obsession of celebrities, or is that just an inside job? Because people are losing it out here, man.
What you're seeing here is water memory. You can do this experiment yourself just by showing an image to water for around 30 seconds and then freezing the water, and you will see a reflection of the image you showed it. This proves that water holds memory, it has consciousness. This is because water can change its structure depending on the vibrations it comes into contact with. This is where things start to get a bit crazy with words. Placing the word schizophrenia in water and then freezing it shows this image of a double-faced person. This proves that water is intelligent and is reacting to vibrations of the words. Now that you understand this concept, what do you think happens when you are drinking Monster Energy, or with cans which imprinted the word of death? You are drinking crystallized water with the imprinted vibration of death. You are filling 70% of your body, which is water, with the vibration of death. Tap water is mixed with sewage and all sorts of toxins inside of these facilities. Although they may remove some of the toxins from the water, the crystallized vibration of this water is still very bad. The ancients didn't just build beautiful water fountains for no reason. They had a purpose of moving the water so that it restructures the vibration of the water. Water is basically the internet of the earth. It has consciousness and intelligence. This is why you should never place your car keys or your phone next to your water. The energy codes in my bio will allow you to place codes underneath water and then drink it.
That is crazy. It makes a lot of sense because water is energy. Definitely. That's why you can drink water from a certain location or from a certain place, and then you have certain memories, or you have clarity over something you wanted to remember or to experience or something like that, because water is energy. Wow. Be careful what you drink. You have to be careful what you feed your body, because it might actually become part of you. Wow, that's interesting.
If you look at Google Sky and look down on Antarctica, you'll find bases from every major country in the world there. And you'll also find the Rockefeller Foundation base as well. There's an opening next to these research facilities. And this is why I believe they made this treaty, this sharing of information treaty or whatever. You can see it on the Google Sky thing. And when you look at it, like, what's in there? Now, why are they over here? And why are they so close to this gigantic opening? What's in there? I think the answer is whatever Admiral Byrd came across or whatever they're coming across, I think it's linked. I think there's a remnant of an ancient civilization in there that possibly is still there, and they're in communication with them. We know that Antarctica was not a frozen tundra. That landmass was on a plate that slipped and there was something called a pole shift of the crust of the earth, which shifted it from a more habitable climate into the position it is now. They're finding remnants of an ancient civilization. You can actually go down there.
You remember the story of Noah in the Bible, where he was told by God that he should build this big boat and let every animal go inside in pairs. And if you are to really think of it practically, it doesn't make sense, because if that was the case, then the boat had to be so huge that it was impossible for him to build it alone, because if it's every animal and every species on this planet and they have to go in pairs, that's quite a huge number. And what actually makes sense is the fact that he maybe collected DNA samples of every species on this planet, and then he made a boat that could actually fit every species, or every DNA of every species on this planet. So after the rains happened and the floods, then he was at least able to save these species. And where exactly could they be stored for them to last that long? Maybe they were stored in the Antarctica. I mean, that is where maybe they still exist up to date, because they are frozen and they have every data or every yeah, every data of this planet or every species that has lived here before and up to date, maybe they still have it, and that's why there's a representation of every country there, and that's why it's heavily guarded. There's just so much secrets around there, and the fact that it's so cold and it's so snowish, then that makes a lot of sense. But I could be wrong, but that's what I believe in. Let me know what you think on the comment section. But I just love the fact that Antarctica is so mysterious, and I can't wait for the day where we actually come to find out these truths and how it's going to change us as a planet, because it's going to change, obviously, because at the end of the day, the truth will not be hidden for a long time. But let me know what you think.
We all know the Earth is actually... Okay, no, we're not doing that. What? Yeah, we're doing this? For real? Why do I have to be that guy? What is beyond the ice wall of Antarctica? Disclaimer, obviously a theory and should be considered for entertainment purposes only. Yes, this is the ridiculous Earth plane theory, or at least a part of it. Now, personally, I think this map is complete bullcrap. There's just countless evidence that goes against it. Before ever even considering a theory, you always need to look for some sort of tangible proof. And these mysterious blue shards reported in a leak from Antarctic research labs are a little more revealing. They were leaked by this helicopter engineer who was contracted to work at McMurdo Station in Antarctica from 1997 to the year 2000. And if you don't know, McMurdo Station is usually where shit goes down. So this engineer, let's call him Jimmy Boy, claimed that he befriended a few of the scientists doing research there in 1998. The scientists told him that they had two types of ice they worked with down there. There was this ice that they drilled cores out of boreholes in the ground that was cold to the touch, usually clear or some shade of white, and melted into water. Almost all of Antarctica is covered with this type of ice, which is just normal ice. Clearly, this wasn't their main focus of research. The only times they ever actively study this ice is when film crews from like National Geographic came down to film a documentary. The other 95% of the time, they studied the forbidden sky ice, totally different than the ice that we're used to. Jimmy wasn't allowed in the labs where they studied sky ice because it was, you know, super duper top secret. But one time, one of the scientists he got close with showed him a piece of the ice, and it was unlike any other matter he's ever seen on Earth. First of all, you couldn't touch it with your bare hands and had to wear your heavy-duty South Pole exploration gloves when holding it because of how cold it was. Secondly, as you can tell, it was this solid deep blue color, allegedly composed mainly of oxygen, and is why they called it sky ice. And oh man, I haven't even scratched the surface of how deep this goes. Oxygen has a freezing point of about negative 218 degrees Celsius, which is when it turns into a solid, so you'd practically get frostbite just by looking at it. Jimmy held it for a bit with his gloves, of course, noting that it was lighter than regular ice, almost like he could have thrown it up in the air and it would have floated back down. It was also slightly flexible and completely opaque, so you couldn't see through it at all. And it didn't even melt into water when it got warm, but just continually shrank until it ceased to exist, likely turning directly into oxygen gas, which is why they had to study it in Antarctica. They couldn't even transport it to anywhere in the world before it disappeared. The Russians knew about this too, and it's part of the reason they all have research stations down there. After 15 minutes or so, the sky ice was almost completely gone, and Jimmy asks his research friend where they even get this ice from. And this is where it gets interesting, because to that, the scientist replied, they get it from the wall. According to him, if you go deep enough, hundreds of kilometers inland from the coast, you'll run into a huge wall in Antarctica that contains this sky ice, the biggest natural structure in the world. This sounds a lot like the infamous ice wall from the pancake Earth theory, which states there's a giant wall of ice that surrounds our entire planet, and there's even more land beyond this wall if you somehow manage to get past it, including the legendary lands of Atlantis, Mu, the Garden of Eden, and even Asgard. Obviously just an incredible stretch of a theory, but interesting to see the ice wall mentioned in a scientific setting here. Now buckle in, because this is where it actually gets insane, in case you felt like it wasn't already. The US has known about this sky ice for decades, and back in the 60s they actually tried boring a tunnel through the ice wall. They built a special boring machine made for the super cold temperatures of the sky ice wall and started digging. For the first 2 miles or so, the floor was solid rock, but after that, even the ground under them became the bright blue sky ice, until they got about 5 to 10 miles deep after an entire year of boring, which is pretty pretty damn far and still no sight of the other side. When they realized the tunnel was shrinking and eventually got so small that they could barely even move their machine anymore. Turns out sky ice, when exposed to warmer temperatures, just dissipates into thin air, but in colder temperatures, like inside the tunnel, it regenerates itself. Eventually, the tunnel got so tight, it became too difficult to continue boring, so they scrapped the project, ditched the machine, and after many decades, the hole they dug into the wall has now been completely sealed. Now, some people say this sky ice wall sounds almost exactly like what would be called the dome or the firmament in the horizontal earth, or at least fragments of it, and even the most popular book in the world had something to say about it. Ezekiel 126 reads, "And above the firmament that was over their heads was the likeness of a throne, as the appearance of a sapphire stone." Now, whether you believe in the Bible or not, we can all agree it is by definition a historic text. Text that was written sometime in history. Firmament over their heads, appearance of a sapphire stone. I mean, I really don't want to believe this is true, and who knows, maybe this entire sky ice Antarctica story is just completely made up, but as always, what if?
Yeah, what if? What if that's the sky ice is actually the firmament? Wow, that would change everything. Damn. Oh. Whoa, that is insane.